Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. We got some major news coming out here. Will Clemente says the CEO of BlackRock just called Bitcoin digital gold on live television. Let's take a quick listen into this. This is from Roger Gruer. Just in, $9 trillion asset manager BlackRock CEO says crypto is digital gold and Bitcoin is an international asset. Let's listen to this. Larry Fink right here.
And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold in many ways. Instead of investing in gold as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the onerous problems of any one country, or the devaluation of your currency, whatever country you're in. Let's be clear. Bitcoin is an international asset. It's not based on any one currency. And so it can represent an asset that people can play as an alternative. I would call the foundation of BlackRock is about hope. You invest for retirement because you believe tomorrow is better than today.
So that's some huge news there. Remember, we had showed a video clip, I want to say maybe 4 videos ago, where he was talking about the demand of I guess you could say his community, or the people that he's working with their company, in regards to, I think there was 600,000 hits as to their interest in Bitcoin digital asset. And that's why obviously they have their spot Bitcoin ETF application in, and they're hoping, obviously they have a great track record. I think they only didn't get approved one time or something crazy like that. So, this is huge coming out of Larry Fink and BlackRock. That's huge. Tyler Winklevoss says, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they join you. So then if we come over here, Meta Lawman hits it on the head too. He goes, as far as I can tell, this is not a deep fake. This is the real Larry Fink, godfather of ESG, trustee of the World Economic Forum, or the WEF. A major progressive political benefactor, sounding just like Michael Saylor. Somewhere that quote-unquote anti-crypto army is wondering what just happened. Literally, man, that's absolutely huge. So that was the one of the big things that's happened in the community there. That's huge. Great exposure. Obviously, Bitcoin is obviously I say the mothership on this channel. But in my opinion, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this space, in the crypto space. We have a lot of green and better days ahead of us. Not to say that there isn't going to be any negative days, but that's absolutely huge. I wanted to cover this too. Plan XRP, or the truth _XRP, says Ripple to sell XRP escrow to pay for lawsuits. So there was some speculation happening in the community as did Ripple and David Schwartz and them know of the lawsuit that the SEC was going to throw against them? I highly doubt it. They could be talking about other lawsuits, whether it was the FinCEN stuff, or I think there was one in 2018 as well. But this is a video of David Schwartz kind of talking about their escrow as a war chest in a sense. Let's take a listen into this.
Our decision to put 54 billion XRP into escrow, and what was behind that, and whether we would use that, for example, to fund the lawsuit. So we're primarily VC funded. That lets us use our XRP strategically. We don't so much have to use it like a bank account. We can more use it as a strategic tool. Certainly, if we were, if you could imagine, we're going to act in our own interest. If we were threatened and we had to draw on that, we certainly would, to protect. That would protect, hopefully, the space as much as it would protect us. We're going to act in our own interest, but we don't have to draw off that to pay salaries, or we can be strategic. We can use it to align incentives. Institutional buyers who may buy XRP with a lockup, they have an aligned incentive with us and other people who hold XRP, because the future value of XRP is very important to them, and we're able to use it that way. It certainly is also a source of revenue. I'm not saying that's not the case, but I'm saying that that's not all of what's going on. Obviously, we think the price is going. If we succeed, we believe that's going to put upward pressure.
So, I think that's just a smart move in general. There's a lot of different people speculating as to, what that's about. But I kind of agree with what Cowboy Crypto had put up here. It says XRP escrow is a war chest, and Ripple will use it if they are threatened to protect themselves as well as the industry if need be. And I thought that was huge that he said the space. David Schwartz said the space, but obviously we're talking about the crypto space, or the crypto industry, whatever you like to say. But it wasn't just about just Ripple, the company itself. It was about the entire space, right? And obviously we'll see that they're doing that. Yeah, they're going to obviously represent themselves and the company and their shareholders, if you will. But then again, they are fighting for the industry, and they're doing the best that they possibly can. So we're still obviously waiting for summary judgment from the judge, and kind of waiting for the final resolution of this SEC versus Ripple case. But I thought this was an interesting clip. Coming over here, Here goes another solid clip here of Riz XRP I put up. I don't know when this exact interview actually hit, but it's talking about on-demand liquidity volume surging in Asia Pacific. Let's listen into this real quick.
All right, congratulations on the in-principle approval for a major payment license from the MAS. So tell us, what does this mean for Ripple's operations in Singapore and the Asia Pacific?
It allows us to offer regulated digital payment token products and services, which will enable us to better support and scale the use of on-demand liquidity, or ODL, by our customers in Singapore and across the APAC region, and that are looking to explore blockchain and digital asset technologies for their cross-border payment and treasury use cases. With on-demand liquidity volumes surging in Asia Pacific, we know that there's great appetite from customers in the region to engage and explore with blockchain and digital assets.
That's huge. Even amidst the SEC dropping the hammer on Ripple, like they're continuing to grow, they're continuing to build and scale and try to fight the good fight and solve real world problems. And it's huge. Obviously, when it comes to outside of the U.S., man, they're thriving. We're just waiting on the U.S. to jump on board. And here goes another quick clip, 40-second clip that I liked. So we're going to play this one too.
Okay, lastly, Rahul, I got to ask you about this. Ripple acquired digital assets custody firm Metaco for $250 million. It's $250 million US in mid-May. Can you give us an update on how that integration is going and how does it fit into the global strategy for Ripple?
So acquiring Metaco makes Ripple the leading enterprise solution provider in the space. Both Metaco and Ripple share strong, digital asset and crypto DNA. So this is the first of many offerings as we continue to build and invest in crypto infrastructure.
All right, Rahul, thank you so much for joining.
Man, as you can see, man, they're going to keep it pushing, man. And that's huge. And that's what give us community members so much more I don't want to say just hope, but it just strengthens why we view Ripple, the company, and XRP, the digital asset, so much. We see kind of what's happening. In my perspective, in my opinion, the writing is on the wall. Just a matter of when this thing really pops off and really just, the sky's the limit at that point. But that's huge. Great news, especially amidst, the lawsuit from the SEC. This was a digital asset investor had put up this screenshot here, right here. And this is the the EU, It says, happy to host an event with Ripple for colleagues from both the public and private sector on blockchain and sustainability in the EU. Digital asset investor says, nothing to see here. Just a member of European Parliament hosting an event with Ripple. My question is, why aren't members of Congress hosting events with Ripple? Great question, but there goes another example of Ripple still doing their thing, man, getting out there and scaling and trying to make an impact, or as they say, a dent in the universe. This is an interesting clip. DAI says a lot of awkwardness on that stage. Nobody wants to bring up Hemon. ETHgate is real. They know it. Gary knows it. Lubin knows it. Hemon knows it. Listen to this and really watch this gentleman's vibe on stage here.
ETH is a security, then the futures contracts that are trading right now on the CME by institutional investors are illegal and they are violating the law. So either the SEC is not being forthright about what the law is, or they're refusing to enforce that view. So in my view, absent either of those two things, in an enforcement case that shows that distinction, that is an invalid view by the chair or anyone else that's saying it, and ETH is a non-security commodity that is not in the SEC's jurisdiction.
Do you guys have a thought? Right?
Ether is a commodity, has been since 2017, and there's a futures contract on it. And until the Securities Exchange Commission were to say that Ether or something else is a security, it's legal to trade it on the CME. I don't think there's any legal uncertainty about the current trading of the futures contract on the CME. So what may develop in the future, what the SEC may do in the future, will just.
So here's the thing with that. even with the SEC, saying it's is or isn't a security is merely interesting. I think a lot of companies are just protecting themselves or their investors or obviously their business. Case in point, Coinbase delisting XRP, right, when it did because it was trying to IPO, right? Obviously, they have their reasons. Could be a little bit more. Who knows? Obviously, I had my speculations on maybe their potential involvement somehow. I don't know. But just because the SEC comes out and says something's a security doesn't make it a security. And JD, Jeremy Hogan, and other attorneys and lawyers within the community have expressed that as well. Just because they come out and say something doesn't make it law. Congress is the one that makes the law. So interesting, though. Obviously, the SEC and Chairman Gensler can drop the hammer and continue to spread that fear and FUD and over-regulation by enforcement. They can do all those things, but it doesn't make something a security just because they say it. Quite honestly, we want Ethereum to thrive and level the playing field and have their fair shot to compete within the community. But quite honestly, just like XRP and Ripple undergoing, their battle, everyone's going to have to go through their battle in some sort of form. Hopefully it's nothing like the XRP community had to deal with, quite honestly. But quickly coming over here, we're currently sitting at a $1.23 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 30,457. Ethereum sitting at 1909 and XRP sitting just above 47.5 cents. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're sitting at a 61. We were just at a 64 yesterday. Yeah, man, interesting stuff. But I just want to touch on this again. This was huge. BlackRock really making a statement. Obviously, I mean, one of the big, I guess you could say headlines, if you will, narratives that kind of pushed and kept Bitcoin in that $30,000, $31,000 range. That's huge. We've got some exciting days ahead. Doesn't mean we're not going to have some bad days, but definitely got some exciting days ahead, especially as we go closer to the Bitcoin halving and, based on the technical analysis that analysts that I follow, they're saying could be in phase one of the actual bull cycle and getting this thing rolling. Hey, just a waiting game to kind of see what happens. But that's what I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. Really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.